Indiana rolls out the red carpet for Thunder on the Ohio. It's unlimited hydroplanes, next on ESPN. From the Ohio River in Evansville, Indiana, it's the 18th annual Pontiac Thunder on the Ohio. This is the Four Freedoms Monument, which sits high atop the Ohio River in downtown Evansville, Indiana. It's certainly a landmark and has been for years. And every time the drivers come around turn 2 on this 2-mile Ohio River course for the Unlimiteds, they're going to see a reminder of the trophy they're going for at the end of the day. Now, it's kind of amazing when you talk about the 1990s and that trophy, you're talking about the big red machine. When you've said Budweiser, you've just about said it all. But it's kind of surprising because in this one of the most competitive seasons ever for the Unlimited Hydroplane Racing Association, the Miss Budweiser is winless, Jim Hendrick.
To find a worse start for the Budweiser racing team, we have to go back to the year of 1988. That year, they lost the first 4 races, but came on to win 4 of the last 5 and have a very successful season. They hope that history will repeat itself. Checking the old Jules High Point Championship race, the Pico American Dream in first place by 576 points over second place Miss Budweiser. Smokin' Joe's is third.
On the Miss Budweiser for a moment, this is the 3rd straight race that Mark Evans finds himself subbing for Chip Hanauer, who is still on leave from his driving duties in the Red Rocket. Evans made his debut driving Miss Budweiser at this race last year, and in the finals while leading, he saw the hull come apart, and with it, a 5-year win streak.
Here's the qualification ladder for this race. Smokin' Joe's the fastest at 160.3. Pico American Dream a mile an hour off the pace. Miss Budweiser rounds out the top 3.
Well, this is the safety crew kind of cooling off before the heat of the day in Heat 1A. Let's check in with the 3rd member of our broadcast team, Steve Montgomery, on the course.
The front straightaway here in Evansville, guys, is in fact not a straightaway. It's a big, sweeping, gradual turn from exit pin to entrance pin. It does affect the performance of the hydroplane slightly. On the back straightaway, you'll see a long, low rooster tail as the boat is at full song. On the front straightaway, the driver is turning the entire time. It's a unique situation found only here in Evansville.
Checking the lineup for Heat 1A, Miss Budweiser catching a break, and Smokin' Joe and Pico American Dream go head-to-head. Arc Construction, Master Tire, and Bustle Enterprises rounds out the field here in Heat 1A.
As they come up to the start line, let's see if they get the flag, and they do. We're off in Heat 1A. Right off the bat, we've got a battle in lanes 1 and 2. The yellow boat looking down from the Labatt eye in the sky is the Smokin' Joe's. Right to his right is the blue and white boat of the Pico American Dream. So right off the bat, we have a face-off and a duel with Mark Tate in the Smokin' Joe's and Dave Philwalk in Pico American Dream.
Take a look at the back chute now. You see the blue boat getting a slight edge down the straightaway. But remember, the boat on the right has the shorter way around the course, and watch how they even up when they hit this turn in corner number 3.
The advantage to the outside boat would be speed. He can maintain the speed because he's not turning as sharply. But as you can see, Smokin' Joe's manages to take the lead back. But here comes Philwalk again. Look from inside the Smokin' Joe's. He's got a clear course ahead of him. It looks like a good run, but they've got to be very, very careful on this course in this turn. This is where the water roughens up, and it comes back off of the bank that you see in the picture there. As they go down the back chute, it takes approximately a quarter of the chute for things to smooth down again.
Our Zodiac lap speed for lap number 1 for Smokin' Joe's 149 mile an hour, Dick.
As you look at our aerial shot, you can see Bustler Enterprises is going off of the course out of turn number 1. He's going over by the pleasure boats, getting out of the way of the race boats. Meanwhile, the battle continues on the front straightaway here. Now, the front straightaway, that's a little misleading. It is the front straightaway, but it's also a little bit of a dog leg, so they have to maneuver the boats around. Smokin' Joe's still leading. There you see the difference between the Smokin' Joe's and the blue boat, which is Pico's American Dream. A good ride for Mark Tate. He's got a good ride going over some very rough water. As you can see there, the waves breaking around the Pico American Dream. Here's a great shot out of the cockpit of the Smokin' Joe's. Now he's going to be looking as he comes around the final turn for the checkered flag. He's had a good run, 2nd place to the Pico American Dream. All they have to do is take him across the finish line.
Remember, in the old Dual High Point Championship running, it's 400 points for a first place finish, 300 for a second, 225 for a third, and so on. And a 400-point finish is coming up for this boat, the Smokin' Joe.
Great way to start the day. The winner of Heat 1A, Mark Tate out of Canton, Michigan, taking the win for the Smokin' Joe's team. Second place goes out to Pico American Dream, Dave Vilwalk and his crew, Steve David and the Arc Construction boat. They've got a great day going for Jim Harvey and crew.
Here's our Fruit of the Loom scoreboard. 400 for Smokin' Joe, 300 for Pico American Dream, and so on down the line as we look at our order of finish for 1A.
Coverage of the Pontiac Thunder on the Ohio and Unlimited Hydroplane Tour is sponsored by Las Vegas, open 24 hours. We'll be back to talk with our winner when we come back in a moment. Welcome back to Evansville, Indiana, the Ohio River, and it is down to the pits to talk with the winner of our first race of the day.
Mark, David ran a hot first lap on you. Did he surprise you at all?
No, not really. I mean, they've been running good all weekend. They ran some real good laps this morning, and, you know, it looked like the advantage was probably the inside lane there.
You'll probably have to go outside next time now. Will that be any problem?
Well, it depends on who gets inside of us, but, you know, right now I'm very proud of the Camel Power Smokin' Joe team. They gave me a great boat, and we got one heat win. We picked up 100 points in the championship, and that's what we're here to do.
Well, coming into Heat 1B, all eyes are on the Miss Budweiser as they unveil a brand new boat trying to get that first win of the season. Steve Montgomery talked to crew chief Ron Brown.
Ron Brown, you decided this morning to run your brand new boat. Tell us why.
Well, Steve, actually, we've been fighting a little bit of a fuel problem here with this fuel restrictor, and both boats were within about a mile an hour of each other, so it really doesn't make any difference right now which hull we run, but we'd like to start concentrating on the new boat, and the only way you can concentrate on a boat these days is to go out there and actually race it in the rough water and get it in racing conditions. So it's just kind of a plan that we need to start working on our new boat.
A little baptism of fire, if you will. Well, it was Ken Muscatel's target boat that caused the biggest stir of the day on the warm-up lap. Watch what happens. He cuts in big time on Mike Jones in the Miss X side. Miss X side, as you look down from the Labatt Eye in the Sky to the right of your screen. Now the two boats come together, the one veering far out. Miss X side literally bounces off and goes off toward the spectator fleet on the Kentucky shoreline. There's damage to both boats. The most severe damage appears to be to the Miss X side. As you look at the side of the boat on the sponson, that is all going to have to be replaced there. We talked to Ken Muscatel to find out what happened.
I don't know. I'm pretty disappointed right now. I must have lost sight of Mike Jones because we took a bad hop out there, and before the start, I think the boat skidded out. But I would have hoped he'd been in front of me so I could see him. It's kind of hard. You lose sight of it, but that's the way it goes.
Well, you got two drivers, you've got two boats, so as you might imagine, Mike Jones, he had a little different view of how things occurred.
Well, yeah, we had a little collision out there. I was kind of wandering around in lane 16 trying to show the spectators the Miss X side, and I think Ken just was a little hot in that turn, and maybe the boat unhooked on him, and he slid out and T-boned me.
Well, as far as the race went, watch the start on the inside by Miss Budweiser as he opens up a commanding lead. Miss Budweiser, of course, holds a record on this course, Jim, so it was a good run, and he got a perfect start.
Not only a speed record, Dick, but 5 straight years the Miss Budweiser team has won here on the Ohio River in Evansville until last year when the Smokin' Joes with Mark Tate took over, and they are the defending champion for this event.
Part of the trick in unlimited hydroplane racing is a good start, and if you can get one of those, you have an advantage over the team. You see from the tail of the Miss Budweiser, and that's a neat shot. I love to watch it as that water comes streaking off of the bottom of the boat. There, as you look down from our aerial shot in the Labatt Eye in the Sky, you can see the rest of the field. DeWalt Tools now running in second place on the course.
This Heat 1B, the baptism of fire for a brand new turbine, Miss Budweiser, first time in competition. And of course, you know, Bernie Little, Ron Brown, Dewey, everybody watching that boat, see how it rides for the very first time in competition waters.
And they'll be interested in the Zodiac lap speed of 142 miles per hour in water that would be considered moderately rough. Another boat that handled very well in the rough water was the DeWalt Tools boat of Mike Hansen, who actually suffered some rib injuries, but he's driving the boat today anyway. Miss Budweiser took the 400 points for first. DeWalt Tools came in second, followed by the Miss Wellborn. The Target Stores gets 127 with a penalty.
Bernie, you've christened a few new boats in your time. This one looks pretty good.
Yeah, I want to get a can of Budweiser and bust it over the nose here. That's his first Eastern competition with our brand new Miss Budweiser, so we got high hopes for him this afternoon.
so far so good. We got first place with it, so I'm happy. We got through the race good. Now we're on to the next heats.
Little wind in your face on the front side here.
It did. The wind had switched just before we went out, so going into the turn, it's really rough. So the rest of the day is going to be something if this wind keeps up like it is.
Well, another guy that'll be concerned with the wind is just down the pits. Dave Vilwalk heading to his boat for Heat 2A. We'll be back in a moment. Back in Evansville, Indiana, Steve Woomer, owner of Smokin' Joe's. He's got himself one smokin' boat, a pretty good driver, and a heck of a good crew chief, Jim Lucero, who takes us through this week's Rancho Performance Corner.
Unlimited hydroplanes last a long time. The 1996 Smokin' Joe Unlimited hydroplane was actually built in 1986, but what you see here is virtually a brand new race boat. The crew worked very hard over the winter of 95 to 96, and all that's really left of the boat is the area right underneath the canopy and the cowling where the engine sits. From there on, we pulled the non-trips off, the air traps off, the sponsons off, and the main spar out, as well as the cockpit. During that time, we worked very hard at reconfiguring the boat and putting fresh materials in. So what we have in 1996 is a very solid, stable, improved Smokin' Joe Unlimited hydroplane.
And those changes over the winter appear to have worked. This boat is running much better than it did at the end of last season. Now, you want to talk about an old boat. How about Ken Muscatel's Target Stores hull? He's having some problems following that incident in 1B, but it appears he may not be able to make it to Heat 2A. Talk about history, though. Jim Lucero was once the crew chief on this boat. Chip Hanauer drove this boat in 1982 when it was the Atlas Van Lines boat owned by Fran Muncy. In 1986, it was the Oh Boy Oberto boat owned by Jim Harvey, who converted it to turbines. Mark Tate has driven this boat. Steve David has also driven it when it was the T Plus in 1989. Then it sat in Seattle for the past couple of seasons. Ken Muscatel has brought it and is working the bugs out.
As they come down for the start of Heat 2A, the Target Stores with Ken Muscatel does not make an appearance. We have DeWalt Tools, Pico American Dream, Budweiser, and Smokin' Joe's on the outside. All the fast ones in this one, Dick.
That's because of the inverted feature that they run in the second heats here at Unlimited Hydroplane Racing. So watch the three boats on the outside. We come down for the start, and there it is. Right off the bat, Pico American Dream looked like he'd had a slight advantage on the start. We look down from our Labatt eye in the sky, and you can see Smokin' Joe's has evened him up on the outside. Now Pico takes it through the turn. Now remember, it's the rough water coming out of that turn they have to be very careful of. It'll be smooth the first time around. Dave Vilwalk taking full advantage of that smoother water, and he's trying to get his lead, but right behind him, just off to the right, is the Smokin' Joe's.
As we look down on Labatt's camera, you can see the lead the Pico American Dream has, and Dave Vilwalk has come a long way from being Chip Hanauer's crew chief in the Circus Hotel Casino boat some years ago.
He certainly has, and he does know the boat inside and out. He can do work on the boat, whether it's the engine or whether it's the hull itself, as well as driving it. Another man who's very knowledgeable in boating is, of course, Mark Tate, and he's the man just on the outside. Mark is going the further course. Dave Vilwalk knows that, so he's taking advantage of holding his lane. And incidentally, it's interesting that Vilwalk is not cutting inside to lanes 1 or 2. He has the room to do it. The rule is they have to have 5 boat lanes between the boat and the boat you're cutting in front of. He has the 5 boat lanes, but he's not cutting in. He's staying to the outside as his owner, Fred Leland, watches from the sidelines.
As they come down the back chute once again, remember there's only 3 laps in the preliminary heats, and then when you get to the final, it's a 5 full lapper as we complete lap number 2 with Pico American Dream first, second is Smokin' Joe's, third is Miss Budweiser.
149 miles per hour for Dave Vilwalk in the Pico American Dream. Jim, I think it's safe to say he's not fooling around with this at all. He's staying right on that pedal.
And he looks like he's riding pretty good. He's kind of loose at times, but that's the way he likes to run. As we look at our 4th place boat, DeWalt Tools with Mike Hansen out of Madison, Indiana, where we race the next race.
This boat, the Pico American Dream, Dave Vilwalk, about 5 miles an hour faster than any other boat in the field on that last lap. 2nd place, Smokin' Joe's. 3rd place, just riding comfortably. That's a brand new boat, the Miss Budweiser. Again, looking down on the field, you can see the margin between the lead boat, the blue one, Pico American Dream, and there he goes across for the checkered flag. Dave Vilwalk, winner of Heat 2A, Pico American Dream. He has been great all season.
And that'll make it 3 different winners and 3 different heats here on the Ohio River in Evansville, Indiana today as we look at our Fruit of the Loom scoreboard. Pico America Dreams, Smokin' Joe's tied in points, the cumulative so far, Miss Budweiser, DeWalt Tools, Target Stores did not start.
We'll be back to Evansville, Indiana in a moment. It's Pontiac's Thunder on the Ohio, Evansville, Indiana. Dick Crippen along with Jim Hendrick and Steve Montgomery, who is down in the pits with Dave Villwack.
So when all the fast guys get together, the inside is the place to be.
Yeah, it kind of looks that way, doesn't it? All the boats are real fast. Just, you know, actually we have a Pico engineer here that helped us in the dyno, and he got here Saturday, and you saw what the results are. Our qualifying times came up, and the boat speed's coming up too. So, but everybody else is fast too, so anybody can win.
Is it as simple as among the 3 of you, whoever has the inside is going to be tough to get around?
It's going to be water, lane conditions, stuff like that in the final. If anybody makes a hiccup, somebody else is going to be right on them because the boats are so close. So it's going to be exciting for the fans. Looking forward to it. Thanks to Progressive Tool. They put us here, having a good time. Hi, everybody.
Well, this race has marked the return of Mike Ekert in the Miss Wellborn health plans, returning for the first time since one of the wildest blowovers ever witnessed in unlimited hydroplane racing. It happened in 1994 at Tri-Cities, Washington. Look at that boat as it blew over. Steve Montgomery spoke with Mike about the race in Pasco in '94.
You know, we ran a 150 warm-up lap, and that was the fastest the boat's ever gone. So I said, well, hell, we'll stand on the throttle one more time and see what happens. And we ran a 154, and then on the 3rd lap, we went upside down right at the end of the chute, and it was a very violent impact.
I know you were banged up a little. Are you 100% now?
Yeah, I think I still feel things in the morning when I still get out of bed, but for the most part, I feel great. I'm ready to come back racing.
Well, it was racing in Heat 2B. The Miss Exide did not start, so you can see they left lane 4 open. But look on the inside. Ekert is on lane 2 and apparently cuts across in front of Mitch Evans. Mitch goes through a couple of rooster tails. It looks like some pretty bad damage to the Master Tire boat.
It looks like the entire left side. Look at the way he's kind of listening to the left. Out of the cockpit and waiting now for a towboat comes Mitch Evans. And look at there. That's the entire left sponson of the Master Tire entry. And it's just ripped right down that left side. And he's sinking.
Well, of course, that race was red flag. Mike Ekert was disqualified. Now, Steve Montgomery caught up with Ekert to get his side of the story.
Michael, a tough call went against you. You want to give us your side?
Well, you know, eventually, you know, when we left the pits, they said I'm in lane 2 and there'll be nobody in lane 1. So first of all, we were already thinking lane 2, nobody there. Then on the second warm-up lap coming around, my crew guy says, Evans is coming up on your inside. I said, well, they said no one's going to be inside of me because that was supposed to be Mike Jones in the X side, and he's scratched. So I said, well, fine, I guess we'll let him come up on the inside. Well, going into the corner, we all came into the first corner hard. I was in lane 2. Once we started in the center of the arc, my crew guy said, go ahead and move over. You can go to lane 1. So I moved over, and obviously it wasn't a very good thing to do.
Well, it ripped the entire left side right off of the Master Tire boat. Here are the two brothers. There's Mark Evans, driver of the Miss Budweiser, greeting his brother Mitch Evans as he comes back to the dock. Fortunately, it appears that Mitch is not injured. He did talk with Steve Montgomery about what happened.
Everybody had pinched down pretty hard, and as the boat started to turn, it's just like a shotgun went off. Boom. I think the sponson, something happened internally in the boat, which caused the boat to flat spin, came out of the water and went in back.
Did you think there should have been a disqualification?
I didn't see. All I saw was I knew Mike was really close, and I was just trying to bear away from him. I really didn't know. I really couldn't see him.
You're okay? The boat's not so good?
No, it's not. We're going to definitely have some work to do, so I'm kind of anxious, obviously, to see it and see what we're going to have to do to get it ready for maybe next week. We'll see.
You know, the real man would have drove that back to the beach.
Yeah.
So I think I heard that from him one time.
A little brotherly love, putting a smile on an otherwise very sad situation for Mitch Evans. Here was the restart of Heat 2B, which restarted after a rather lengthy delay. Now, as you watch here, you can see Stephen David is coming up to the start line, but Bustler's in the back, lost power all of a sudden, regained it, and then got back up on plane. But by that time, as you can see, with a speed of 115 miles per hour, Art Construction had had enough of an advantage at the beginning of the race that he didn't really have to do anything but test the waters and test the boat. So the way they finish, Art Construction, 625 points, Bustler's Enterprises, 427. And the work continues in the pit area in this wild, wild Pontiac Thunder on the Ohio. The Pico American Dream being repaired. Will be back in a moment. Welcome back to Evansville, Indiana, where there has definitely been trouble in River City. All sorts of trouble. For instance, look at Mike Jones. He knows his boat's not going to make it back in today. There's also damage to the Target Store's boat of Ken Muscatel. They're working feverishly on that one. And then, of course, there's the Master Tire boat, which lost the entire left side. Fortunately, the rescue crews got out there, got Mitch Evans taken care of, and also got the boat back to shore. But a lot of work yet to be done on that one.
As we mentioned at the top of the show, Evansville has always been sort of a Budweiser town when it comes to celebrating unlimited hydroplane wins. And on hand in Evansville, August Bush III to check out the Miss Budweiser operation. This is the 34th season that Bernie Little has teamed up with Anheuser-Busch and Budweiser. It's the longest owner-sponsorship partnership in motorsports.
What's 3? Must know what that is.
And on the midway, a testament to the Budweiser horsepower, Kenny Bernstein's top fuel dragster, part of the Budweiser Motorsports display. And of course, horsepower of a different variety, the Budweiser Clydesdale, part of the Four Freedoms festivities.
Well, another guy from the Budweiser team looking for more horsepower is Mark Evans. He got left on the line and finished third in Heat 2A. He talked about that start.
We came up to the start, and the guys took off and ran without us. Boat started picking up, but we're just going to have to come up with a little bit more acceleration. I'll be a little more aggressive on the throttle. You can jump the gun once and not get a penalty, so we might play with that. But we need some more ponies here, boys.
Well, Dick, the question has been answered. The Target Stores with Ken Muscatel has been repaired and comes out again on the Ohio River with a Pico American Dream in 3A in lane 1, Miss Budweiser lane 2. Target Stores will take lane 3. Miss Exide will not start. They could not repair the boat. Outside, it's Bustler Enterprises with Rick Christensen.
So Bustler Enterprises will be the pace boat. Now, it's one of the slower boats out there with a rookie driver, so it's a little bit tougher for the fast boats to come up. As you look down from the Labatt's eye in the sky, here comes the green flag, and they're off. And again, the challenge is on the inside. It's Pico American Dream, the blue boat, and the red rocket in lane number 2 is Mark Evans in the Miss Budweiser. Let's see what Pico does coming out of the turn onto the back stretch. As he gets into it, he is again powering on very hard, but Mark Evans, Jim, is not giving him an awful lot of room.
No, he's not, and that was a better start for Mark Evans in the Budweiser as they come down now. Looking a little loose there for Pico American Dream in turn number 2 as he comes around the apex and comes around to complete lap number 1.
Now, this boat is operating for Dave Vilwalk at perfection. He told me before he loves the way this boat is handling. This is not the boat that won the Gold Cup in Detroit. This is a brand new boat. He had the engine tweaked and everything seems to be in operation for him. He is doing a great job at driving it also, but you can tell he feels that boat like it's some sort of a glove on his hand. He's responding without even thinking to it. Again, the Miss Budweiser takes a little bit of rough water as they go around.
Our Zodiac lap speed for the Pico American Dream, driven by Dave Vilwalk, 151 mile an hour. Our Labatt's blue eye in the sky shows our 4th place boat. It is the Bustler Enterprises with Rick Christensen.
Running 3rd place out there is the Target Store boat, now repaired, and here's your leader. He's going to be coming around for the white flag, which means one more lap to go. Dave Vilwalk, look at the way he dances that boat across the top of the water. as compared to the Miss Budweiser, who had a speed of 144 miles per hour, which was about 7 miles an hour slower than Pico in lap number 1. But Pico, you can see he's really got that boat light out there coming across. Miss Budweiser seems to be sitting a little bit firmer in the water. A good shot as you look down on the field aerial. It looks great.
Do you know that if they put those front wings down hard, there's 2,000 pounds on the nose of a boat, and that'll slow you down about 10 miles an hour.
It'll also bring that front end down, which is something they have to be concerned about. But if you see that horizon leave you, you've got a problem, because you're not going to get the boat to react quite that fast. Here comes the winner coming around for the checkered flag. Dave Vilwak, who has had a tremendously strong season so far, takes another heat win in Heat 3A in the Pico American Dream. He's really got that boat going. Second place goes to the Miss Budweiser, driven by Mark Evans. He's done a good job of working that boat.
Our Fruit of the Loom scoreboard shows Pico America Dream with 1,100 accumulative points. Second place to Miss Budweiser, Target Stores, and then Bustler.
And there you see your winner as the safety crew goes out to escort the boat into the dock. There's second place, the Miss Budweiser. Some good racing without the Smokin' Joes that time, but that boat is getting ready to go out on the course as Mark Tate gets aboard. We'll be back. Welcome back to Evansville, Indiana. Dick Crippen along with Jim Hendrick and Steve Montgomery. You know, this is where the Pontiac Thunder in the Ohio is part of the Four Freedoms Festival. That features all kinds of festivities on the Midway like this, the Chili Cook-Off.
Oh, they like their chili. And you know who likes it the most? Who else but our commissioner, Bill Donor.
How do you like that? Other than that, it's fun.
Well, at the Pontiac Thunder on the Ohio, the Four Freedoms Trophy is not the only prize to be won. The Pontiac dealers sponsoring Thunder on the Ohio, we're also giving a car away to the lucky person with the correct key to start this beautiful red 96 Pontiac Sunfire. What they did was the people that qualified reached into a sort of pail type arrangement where they had 99 keys. One of the keys would start it. And you know what happened? I'll tell you, on the 33rd try, in other words, number 33 in line, there it is. Janice Baker from Mount Carmel, Illinois, turned her over.
And on the docks with the winner of Heat 3A is Steve Montgomery.
Pretty good day, but there's one pretty important race left, Dave.
Yeah, well, that's all we can do. We'll see what lane choice does, and we'll just try to tune the boat up just a little bit more so we can try to maybe pass that. Well, looks like Smokin' Joe's will be on the inside. We got to run around the outside, and that's a big task. But we're going to go back and work on it and see if we can't put this Pico boat out front in the final.
Let's go inside the Smokin' Joe's boat from the in-cockpit camera. He is on the course over at the Budweiser camp. Let's catch up with Mark Evans.
Looks like you might be headed for lane 3 in the final. Any chance out there?
Yeah, it looks like it. I don't know, man. Lane 1 might not be the place to be, but we'll see how the draw, you know, how the rest of the guys pick and kind of go from there. But, you know, decent wind. You know, we don't have a bunch of wind, but it's sure stirring it up. Big holes down at this end, but normal type of racing.
Well, on board the DeWalt Tools entry driven by Mike Hansen on the warm-up lap for Heat 3B. You can see he's got pretty good water out there. Steve David's Arc construction boat heading out. Earlier, Steve Montgomery took a closer look at this particular entry.
The multi-wing design in an unlimited hydroplane means that the center section of the boat does not run all the way from the front clear back to the transom. This center section is a ram wing, shaped like an airplane wing that provides lift the same way it does in the aircraft industry. The canards that we find on the front of most of the boats are back here now on the trailing edge of this wing, and then, of course, there's a big hole before we get to the transom. Now, Steve David, in the early 90s, this was thought to be the future of unlimited hydroplane racing. 6 years later, it doesn't appear to be. What do you think?
Some things have changed with the rules, of course. They started restricting the fuel, and we lost about 500 or 600 horsepower. This design was meant to have a lot of horsepower. Now we're making it work with less horsepower. And it's kind of a Jekyll or Hyde thing. We did set the world record with this boat. It is the fastest boat there is, but it's not consistent on all race courses, and we've got to make it work with less horsepower. Rather than running what everybody else is, we prefer to go this innovative way and see if we can make something happen.
It's not happening for Mike Egret. He's having problems. He'll not start here at Heat 3B as we look at the starting lineup, Dick. And they're coming down, and it's down to 3 boats: Smokin' Joe's, Art Construction, and DeWalt Tools.
So we'll see if we can get the green flag this time around. They are leaving lane number 2 open. That's where Mike Egret would have been in the Wellborn Health Plans boat. There's the green flag, and they are off. And it's going to be the 2 boats on the outside that'll be battling for the honor of winning. Steve David, as we look down from the Labatt Eye in the Sky, has the lead momentarily. Let's see if he can get Smokin' Joe's caught off. He cannot. As they come around the turn, you can see Smokin' Joe's in lane number 1 has taken the lead. Here's the camera on board the DeWalt Tools with Mike Hansen. You can see the rooster tails to his left. That's what he's concerned with. He's got to stay outside of those, past the danger point, try to find good water, and try to find more speed.
They're into the turn now. You can see that rooster tail actually raising as the skid fin on the left of the Art Construction, which is the boat on the left of DeWalt Tool here. Now it's the reverse as we look at it from another angle. Your leader is coming around to complete lap number 1. That is the Smokin' Joe's, followed by Art Construction and DeWalt Tool.
Actually, Art Construction is hanging in there with him pretty well, about 3 to 4 boat lengths back most of the time on the course. And we have to look at Smokin' Joe's as being an extremely fast boat. It was top qualifier out here. They've really got that boat operating well, and there you see the ride he's getting inside as compared to the ride that Mike Hansen was getting on the outside. This is very smooth. It's good water.
Zodiac lap speed 146 on lap number 1 for Smokin' Joe. And remember, he's the defending champion of this event, having broken the Budweiser string of 5 straight victories last year.
There you get an aerial view of the 3 boats that are racing in this one, and you can see 140 miles per hour for Art Construction. Steve David. Steve would like to get a little more speed on that boat, but he told me before the races started today, their one goal is to make it to the final. So we may be holding back on the equipment just a little bit.
Again, as we look down from the Labatt Eye in the Sky, you can see 1, 2, 3, and inside the 3rd place boat, DeWalt Tools, with Mike Hansen driving.
Mike Hansen doing a good job just holding it in there, because this guy has got a very, very sore rib cage. He had some rib injuries when he bounced around in qualifying and testing earlier in the week. As you can see, he fights the wheel around the turn because he's going against the pressure of the skid fin as the boat tries to slide out on him. He actually has to force the boat back in to make that turn. I kind of compare it to the old dirt racers where they used to let that back end slide out. You can also see the canard just to his left as it's kind of bouncing up and down a little bit. He's got a foot on that pedal. He's trying to adjust that airflow across the nose of the boat as he goes around. Here is your winner coming across the line. This is the winner of Heat 3B, Smokin' Joe's. Well, it kind of gives a little wave to the crowd out there. Maybe that was a victory wave, maybe not. Art Construction with Steve David coming in 2nd.
Our Fruit of the Loom scoreboard shows the order of finish in the right column. Here's the total points towards the O'Doul's High Point Championship run.
Mike Egret getting towed back in, but we've got lots of racing yet to go. Welcome back to Evansville, Indiana, and there's a fine welcome for you. This is the parade that is held the night before the big races. It's right through downtown Evansville, and it is definitely, without question, one of the major highlights of the Four Freedoms Festival. Everybody gets out, everybody participates. You never know what you're going to see. Here are some of the Shriner groups that came through. Of course, you got to have the baby parades. These are all the twins, the quadruplets, and the triplets, all there together. Oh boy, look at that. It is America's heartland at its very, very best. Steve is with the winner from Heat 3B.
Mark, it looks like you'll have lane choice in the final now. Is there any doubt where you want to be?
Well, we couldn't beat them from the outside earlier. Lane 1's pretty sloppy out there, but I think on this racetrack, that's the place to be.
It looks like you fast guys, whoever's on the inside has a tremendous advantage. It's as simple as that, isn't it?
Well, it looks that way, but, you know, Dave's been running strong. His last time out, he ran a really quick lap out there in the first lap, so it's a boat race. Anything can happen.
It certainly can. And talking about boat race, here's the Competition Cam's Unlimited Light Final. The boat's coming down to take the green flag, and it looks like it's going to be a good start. It is, and they are off and running. Right off the bat, they've got stiff competition going into the first turn. You can see the boat on the outside trying hard to get his speed going because he knows he's got a lot of boats sitting inside him that'll even up as they come around the turn. This is always the toughest spot in the Unlimited Lights. When they hit that first turn, everybody wants to jockey for position. The ideal spot is to be inside, so you get a lesser run. You can see there that Charlie Wiggins on the inside. Dennis Macy gets around him on the outside. So Dennis took advantage of a little extra speed as they went.
Our Labatt Eye in the Sky shows that all of these races are pretty close, battling from second to fourth place. This is the last step. This is like the AAA baseball team. From here, you go up to the Unlimiteds. The difference is it's turbine-powered in the Unlimiteds. These are automotive-powered boats. They're a little noisier, they're exciting, and the competition, Dick, when they race with us on these courses, it's always good.
Yeah, and it's good speed, too, but these boats being smaller and lighter, they bounce all over the place, and it's really quite a shocking ride. It's interesting that when the drivers move up into the Unlimiteds, I've been told that actually you have to be very careful because the Unlimited tends to be a little bit like a pillow, so they're not as violent, and therefore you kind of lose a sense of speed. Right at the moment, Miss Pontiac, Mark Webber out in third place. You can see the battle is still between Dennis Macy and Charlie Wiggins. Wiggins on the inside, Macy leading on the outside in lane number 2. He is doing a good job of driving that boat, and he's bouncing around quite a bit. He does have the advantage of a little bit smoother water when you're out front like that. When you're back in the pack, like some of these boats are, when you have 6 and 8 boats starting on this course, you're going to get some pretty rough water back there.
In 1, 2, 3 running order is Dennis Macy and Dennis the Menace, Charlie Wiggins in the high pressure, and Mark Webber coming across in Miss Pontiac.
Mark getting a little bit of a bouncy ride out there. He's got to go to the outside of the course to try to catch him. But as it is right now, Macy has taken over the lead in the Dennis the Menace boat.
Most of these Unlimited lights, Dick, have followed suit and are encapsulating the driver with that canopy. As we look at Charlie Wiggins, has just lost the cowling off his engine, but he keeps on running, trying to catch up to the lead boat, which is Dennis Macy and Dennis the Menace.
There you get a good shot of Dennis as he continues to pile on. Now, you'll notice Dennis does not have a canopy on his boat. Most of the boats do have the canopies. Some of them do not. They're still transitioning. There is the boat that lost the cowling. There's your leader one more time. And this, oh, it looked like Charlie Wiggins hit a buoy. Charlie Wiggins may have hit a buoy in the high pressure. We'll see how they score it. There is your winner, though, coming around for the checkered flag. This is Dennis the Menace, the name of the boat. The driver is Dennis Macy. He is one happy guy. That's one thing. Without having that canopy, he can get that fist in the air. Now, we just got word that Charlie Wiggins did hit that buoy, so he has been moved back a lap. That means Miss Leroy has now finished in third place.
And as a result of the extra lap penalty, our order of finish, the top 5 here in the competition CAMS finals, the Menace, Miss Pontiac, Miss Leroy, Pocket Mechanic, and Wannabe.
So some good racing action on the Ohio River. Now they're starting to get ready for the finals here in the Unlimited Hydroplanes. Miss Art Construction getting ready to go into the water. Steve David buckling up. There's Mike Hansen as he talks over things with his crew. Bernie Little's Miss Budweiser. Bernie right down there talking to his driver by radio. And, of course, the Smokin' Joe's Mark Tate. We'll see how they shake out in a moment. Crippen, Jim Hendrick, and Steve Montgomery back in Evansville, Indiana, as we get set for the finals of the Unlimiteds. They're having a good time on the Ohio because following Dennis Macy's win in the lights, they were having a pretty good time on the docks. A little celebratory dunking for our winner, who spoke with Steve Montgomery.
Dennis, come over here. Nice job, and I bet you didn't mind the ceremonial dunking.
Well, it was my first win in G&H 7-liter. These are all my buddies. I knew I could accelerate with them. My boat's a little bit on the light side. I have a hard time sometimes in the rough water keeping up with everybody.
Good job.
Thank you very much.
Now here's the way the lanes will draw for the final. Winner take all heat in lane 1, Smokin' Joe's with Mark Tate, Pico America Dream, Dave Philwalk, lane 2. Miss Budweiser draws the lane number 3 with Mark Evans. Art Construction with Steve David in lane 4. Lane 5, DeWalt Tools, Mike Hansen, Rick Christensen and Bustler Enterprises in lane 6. And the trailer boat, the Target Stores, Ken Muscatel, as they come down, Dick, for the winner take all. And remember, this is a 5-lap final.
That's true, and as they come up to the start line, they do not get it. It is a false start. They did not put the green flag out. Now here's the trick. As they come up to the start, They hit a box, if you will. In the eyes of the referee, there is a box out on the course. Once they hit that box, if they are lined up properly, they will more than likely start them out. But they want everybody pretty even coming into that box. There's a trick to it. If you get into the box even and then you can accelerate and outdraw everybody else, you make it yourself a first-class start. But they're going to have to take it around one more time, fan the boats on the turn because, of course, the boats on the inside are running less of a course, so they have to kind of take the pace boat, and as you can see, he pulls everybody forward in a fan. Now they start lining up on the river. Let's see if they can get in a line good enough for the start. It's looking good. As they come down into the box, let's see if we've got it. There it is. The green flag is out, and we're underway. A good start. And look at that, 6 across with one trailer boat about 15 seconds behind the lead line. It is Pico American Dream with Dave Villwock in the lead in turn number 1. But boy, has he got the competition all around him. And I'll tell you, as they come back out on that straightaway, let's see if Smokin' Joe's on the inside is going to be able to catch him. Remember, Mark Tate was talking about it being a little bit sloppy on the inside. Lane 2 may have been the lane he would want to be in.
Look at the skid fin hang on that big rooster tail, throws it right up in the air as the Pico American Dream is in first. On the inside is the Smokin' Joe. On the outside of the boat on your left is Mark Evans. And look at the way the Pico is riding. Really light, Dick.
He really likes that ride. As we said earlier, this is a brand new boat. This is the first time it's been in competition. This is not the boat that he won the Gold Cup in. He likes this boat better. Looking down from our Labatt eye in the sky, you can see second place is the Miss Budweiser. Mark Evans getting one of the best rides he's had so far today in that boat. It looks like they've unscrewed it a little bit and loosened it up.
Zodiac lap speed 149 for the leader. Look what's happening back in the pack, Dick. We're looking at the third place boat. Budweiser has moved on the other side of that rooster tail in second.
At 137 miles per hour, and you can see the battle is on for second place between the Miss Budweiser on the outside and the Smokin' Joe's on the inside. Dave Villwock having a good ride. He took the lead right off the start of this race, and he's held it. If he just keeps his speed up and he stays right side up, he's in good shape.
Look at the way the Smokin' Joe's is getting loose as Mark Tate is trying to take over second and has taken over second from Miss Budweiser as they come down to complete lap number 2.
What a battle this is. Smokin' Joe's crossed over in the wake of the lead boat to try to get second away, and he did it effectively. He got inside, ran the lesser course, and took it right away from Mark Evans. Mark Evans is now in the chase. Your lead boat still holds a good margin over the other two.
The Pico American Dream looking for its third victory in 4 tries, having won at Phoenix, taking the Gold Cup in Detroit. It was Mark Tate at Smokin' Joe's at Kansas City, and Pico leading here as we look at Tate and Smokin' Joe's.
What a beautiful job of driving by all of these guys out there, and best of all, at this particular time, the American Dream. Dave Villwock's boat. There you can see Mark Tate has hung the boat out as far as he can hang it out. It is really loose in the water, but it did at least benefit him to the point of taking over second place. Will the third place boat, Miss Budweiser, be able to catch him? At this point, it's anybody's ball game.
Budweiser must have gone wide because he was riding in lane 3 to give the Smokin' Joe's a chance to move into lane 3 and come out the outside of the lead boat. That's unusual.
It certainly is. Mark is having a good ride out there in the Miss Budweiser. You can see he takes a little bit of flight out there and comes back down, and it rides beautifully in the water. Our eye in the sky, again, giving us a great view of how these boats are shaking out from 1 through 3. Here is your second place boat, the Smokin' Joe's, as they come down now to take the white flag. That means 1 more lap to go. Your leader is Pico American Dream right there. Second place is the Smokin' Joe's, and third place the Miss Budweiser.
And if it remains this way with less than a lap to go, it'll be 3 different winners in 3 different years of racing here at Evansville, with Budweiser the winner in 94, Smokin' Joe's in 95, and Pico looking at the checkered flag coming around on this last lap.
Pico American Dream, Dave Villwock, he said he had the engine guy in. They tweaked it a little bit, and it looks like it has paid off for him. He had a great run right from the green flag at the start of this race. He got himself in a perfect position on the start, took the lead into the first turn, and has not let it go. Here's the checkered flag out to Pico American Dream, his 3rd win in 4 races. Dave Villwock has got to be smiling ear to ear inside that helmet. There's your second place, the Smokin' Joes, followed by Mark Evans in the Miss Budweiser.
As our Fruit of the Loom scoreboard shows, Pico the winner, Smokin' Joe second, Miss Budweiser third, Arc Construction fourth, DeWalt Tools overall fifth.
Oh boy, are they celebrating in the Pico camp, and rightfully so. They've done a great job, and look at the excitement inside that cockpit with Dave Villwock as he comes in. He'll take those cheers. That crew has done a great job. Well, today's coverage of the Pontiac Thunder on the Ohio has been sponsored by Las Vegas, open 24 hours a day. We'll be back and talk to our winner, Dave Villwock, in just a moment. Back here in Evansville, Indiana, the winners stand. Oh, well, the trophy broke. Truth be known, it happened earlier in the day. The Four Freedoms trophy, one of the columns came loose on it earlier in the day, but now Dave thinks he's a very strong guy.
Well, he's got a very strong boat, Dick, as the Pico America Dream and the O'Doul's High Point Championship has increased their lead over the Miss Budweiser and Smokin' Joe's. Following his third win in 4 races, Dave Villwock spoke with Steve Montgomery.
David, that's 3 wins in 1 season now. Pretty heady stuff. Tell us about the start. That was the whole boat race.
Well, we made a good run. Pico, like I say, they got Ray here, the guy standing right here. He's come in. He was from our dyno facility and helped us make a lot of power. And, you know, we just kept trucking on, kept making it better and better.
So it was boat speed, but you also timed the start very well.
We timed the start and had a great boat ride. It was pretty rough out there, and we just had to keep legging it through. And we knew that from an earlier heat that we ran some fast times in some rough water. But again, the Pico guys got us a great boat race, a great boat.
So you were a little more confident about lane 2 than some of your fans might have been.
Probably when somebody said we got lane 2, I said we got them right where we want them.
As we continue with the festivities here in the winner's circle, there's Fred Leland with a trophy, and of course O.H. Frisbee congratulating him, long time with Atlas Van Lines, and George Wright from George Wright Pontiac locally, and of course the winner, Dave Villwock. It's been a great day of racing, and we certainly look forward to those races yet to come. Next stop, Madison, Indiana on the Ohio River, just upriver from where we are right now. Coverage of the UHRA's 1996 Pontiac Thunder on the Ohio has been a production of Diamond P Sports in association with ESPN.